Tonight on the program, we welcome the new year with prospects for 2026, from Thai politics and the economy to border tensions. Then the aftermath of the elections in Myanmar. สวัสดีปีใหม่ค่ะ and welcome to This Week with Thai PBS World. We begin our first episode of 2026 with the outlook for Thailand. In less than a month, Thais will be heading to the polls in a bid to reset Thailand following a string of political upheavals. I recently spoke with a political analyst as he gave me his perspective on the upcoming elections and the political climate in 2026. This February, over 53 million Thais will head to the polls in a bid to reset the country after a series of political upheavals and crises. Many parties have confirmed their prime ministerial candidates and have launched their election campaigns. Some are hoping for a second chance to lead the country, while many new parties are aiming at bringing about change.
Well, I hope and I expect that the electorate, the people, will have their say and begin a process of transforming the country. We cannot afford to be stuck in low growth economically. We cannot afford to bear the burden of debt for ordinary people and for the government. We can no longer afford to sit idle in the international community. These things have to be changed, have to be transformed.
Nowadays, we have a very serious problem about the scammer networks is going to capture our country. We have the serious problem about corruption. We have high inequality in our countries. We are the number one inequality country in Asia. And now we have a long-term stagnation of the economic development. So it is a very serious issue that the next election is the moment that the people can make a change.
The competition is fierce. 52 parties are in the race, but most eyes are on the larger major parties, Pheu Thai, Phumjai Thai, the People's Party, and the Democrats. Of all these major parties, political analyst Dr. Thitiphon Phakniwanit feels that Phumjai Thai Party has an advantage in the upcoming elections due to its ability to attract MPs from several opposing parties. He also feels that the Pheu Thai Party is losing its appeal, mainly because it failed to keep to its election promises, which he says has undermined the party's reputation. The People's Party's hope of winning the election again is, however, looking unlikely following its decision to vote for Anutin Charnvirakul as the current prime minister.
I think Phumjai Thai is in the best shape in this election, not because they are the best party. I want to make it clear at this point first, but just because they have attracted a large number of former MPs, and we have seen the numbers. I think at least 60 or 80 people have already moved in to this brew house. So that is quite important. And the problem with Thai politics at the moment, that patronage politics is still important in elections. So it is also likely that they could win most seats, judging from today.
Back in 2023, the Move Forward Party won the elections with over 14 million votes, followed by the Pheu Thai and Phumjai Thai parties. If Phumjai Thai does win the election, Dr. Thitiphon predicts that it could still form a strong coalition, which includes the possibility of reuniting with the Pheu Thai Party. A key point is that Anutin made clear that he would not form a coalition with a party that advocates for amendments to the lèse majesté law and an amnesty for political offenders. The People's Party has already, however, confirmed that such issues will not be used in their election campaign.
I think it is possible because in Thai politics, we would go back to a very typical Thai politics without the power of progressive party, because now the reputation has significantly declined and damaged by what they did. So I think we would go back to the politics before 2019, where we have typical party, typical power, typical political mafia, and political dynasty taking control.
So it's like the same old cycle.
Yes, same old cycle. That is bad for Thai democracy. That is unfortunate because the Liberal Party cannot actually make progress, even they can make it.
The upcoming elections coincide with a number of crises in Thailand, from the economic slowdown and border tensions to geopolitical rifts. The changes that Dr. Thitiphon hopes to see at the very least are stronger foreign policies. One such would be putting an end to the border conflicts, which he says would be a good starting point for the new government. Nad Bunag reporting for Thai PBS World. Like what you've seen, anything can happen in Thai politics. But whoever becomes the next Prime Minister of Thailand will have to address the challenge of a sluggish economy. The bad news is that Thailand's GDP, which has already hit a very low point in 2025, will contract even further this year. I had a chance to speak with two economists about the policies needed to boost the economy despite the backdrop of political instability and trade tariffs. Thailand's economic growth rate in 2025 was the lowest among ASEAN countries, and sadly, it is expected to slump further in 2026. According to the Joint Standing Committee on Commerce, Industry and Banking, Thailand's GDP for 2026 would grow between 1.6 and 2%. Other economic institutions have forecast that the country's economy would grow by no more than 1.5%. Thai economist Nonarit Pisonyabut reflected on Thailand's economic situation, which has been deteriorating in recent years. He feels that past governments have placed too much emphasis on economic stimulus measures, particularly the populist digital wallet scheme and co-payment programs. Describing Thailand's economy as a sick man, Nonarit feels that the country has been overly reliant on these measures for more than 20 years, and their effectiveness has already decreased. For this reason, he no longer wants to see any more of these policies.
When your body gets weaker and weaker, the effectiveness of the stimulant will be much lower. And this is what's happening right now. We have a really high debt to GDP. So most money that come in may go into repaying their debt first, or they cannot afford to just spending that money anymore. When we see the stimulus policy will not work anymore for Thailand, then we need to shift our policy towards structural policy, which means that we aim for the long-term goal.
On the brighter side, Thailand saw export resilience during the first half of 2025. But like other countries, Thailand's exports were hampered by U.S. trade tariffs and geopolitical rivalries. Pawida Pananon, a lecturer from Thammasat University, feels that the country is now in a vulnerable position as it relies heavily on exports to the U.S. and relies on imports and investment from China. Internal conflicts such as political instabilities and border tensions with Cambodia have also undermined Thailand's reputation and credibility on the international stage.
The trade negotiation has been suspended since November because of the war with Cambodia. So next year, going forward, we are hopeful that we would be able to conclude the trade agreement with the US, which we don't know yet what would happen because the ongoing issue between Thailand and Cambodia. So that's one main issue. Not to mention that US has also mentioned that the transshipment or having the product of China in the kind of supply chain would be something that they look at. So, Thailand being very dependent on the inputs from China would also make it vulnerable. We have to make sure our supply chain rules of origin regulations are clear, that we can demonstrate that these are not transshipment and these are our rules of origin are trustworthy enough.
Meanwhile, Nonorit identifies 12 structural issues that are holding Thailand back from economic growth. One issue that he thinks must be addressed immediately is reskilling the labor force. As he observed, the retirement age is usually between 60 and 65, but the average age of Thais who have fallen out from the workforce is actually 55.
The government need to stop paying the money to the people anymore, but start empowering, upgrading skill. Make sure that these people who still can work, okay, they are not in their retirement age already. How can the government make them, be part of the economy, be part of the creating the GDP?
Another problem is that Thailand has been using the same strategy to attract foreign investment and depending on their activities to lift the Thai economy for too long.
To move Thailand forward, I think we need to look at the industrial policy that look at the activities that Thai suppliers are doing. How do we make sure that the resilience for supplier is strong for Thailand? How can Thailand remain an attractive and a competitive partner for multinational companies to make sure that their investment in Thailand is also help them resilient in their overall economic and supply chain, global value chain. So I think we need to look at a more in-depth and look more into the global value chain of activities, what we are doing, how we can make sure that we are not just going after the kind of the new and attractive industries, but to make sure that Thai suppliers and Thai players are also have opportunities to survive in those industries.
In order to put Thailand back on track, both economists agree that the new government must seriously consider the next phase of economic policy to build economic resilience and increase competitiveness. What's also important is solving internal issues, including the ongoing border tensions, which are undermining the Thai economy. Nad Bunag reporting for Thai PBS World. And like what they just said, the Thai economy could face further damage if the border dispute remains unresolved. With the border tensions dragging on and no sign of de-escalation, our reporter Warisara Sahan finds out whether both countries can still find ways to ensure a lasting peace between the two countries.
Thailand and Cambodia signed a truce halting all military operations and hostilities along the border on December 27th, with a 72-hour observation period. The ceasefire came into effect at noon that day. After months of fierce border clashes, Thailand reiterated that it had agreed to a conditional ceasefire to test Cambodia's sincerity. By the end of 2025, this de-escalation could be one of the most significant steps towards restoring relations between the two countries, following the longest border clash in years. Veteran journalist Kawi Jongkit-Thawon, an expert in ASEAN affairs, gave credit to the caretaker government, clearly positioning Thailand's stance and projecting its voice in ASEAN and other multilateral fora, with a focus on policy continuity and the protection of national interests and territorial integrity. Kawi believes that relations between the two countries may not be as they were before this year's confrontations. While bilateral ties will definitely improve given the way GBC handled the situation, it will not happen overnight.
It will take time because the past relations have been torn apart at the government level, at the international level, and most important, at the community level along the over 800 kilometers front line. I think it's very important now that there must be activities, dialogue, and joint effort by the community, but community themselves across the border would not be able to do anything without local, provincial, or national authorities to back up, to provide incentive.
During the conflict, social media and some news outlets fueled rage and extreme nationalism in both countries, making it more difficult to manage bilateral relations. On the brighter side, Songrit Pongen, an expert on the Mekong sub-region and ASEAN, says there's still a way to rebuild relations as Thailand and Cambodia have similar cultures and traditions, including Buddhism as the national religion of both countries.
สิ่งที่ทำให้เรากลับมาคืนดีกันได้เนี่ยก็คือในเรื่องของซอฟต์พาวเวอร์ในเรื่องศิลปะวัฒนธรรมเรื่องของการเชื่อมโยงซึ่งกันและกันในเรื่องของประชาชนไม่ใช่การเผชิญหน้าระหว่างรัฐต่อรัฐนะครับแต่เป็นการส่งเสริมในภาคประชาชนผมเชื่อว่าในโลกของโซเชียลทุกวันนี้เนี่ยเมื่อมันไปได้เร็วนะครับถ้าเราเสนอข้อมูลข่าวสารอะไรที่มันไปในเชิงบวกซึ่งกันและกันไม่ใช่การปั่นกระแสให้เกียรติชังเหมือนที่ผ่านมานะฮะ
Meanwhile, Thailand will hold the next general election on February the 8th after the dissolution of the House of Representatives. Bilateral relations will depend on the foreign policy of the next administration. Gawi noted that the effective management of bilateral relations will require a foreign policy of continuity, predictability, and certainty. He added that it should also prioritize Thailand's role in ASEAN and strengthen bilateral ties with neighboring countries in the most amicable way.
We have relation with Myanmar, which has also election and probably have to set up the new government relatively at the same time with Thailand. So whatever shaping up in Myanmar will impact on Thailand. This ASEAN profile need to be continued and also proactive. And finally, Thailand has a very good position in the international relation.
Despite the ceasefire, efforts to resolve tensions along the lengthy border remain a challenge. Attention now turns to Thailand's regional and international profile, as 2026 brings a new ASEAN chairmanship under the Philippines and the new Thai government. Warisala Sehan reporting for Thai PBS World.
And now let's turn to Myanmar. The national elections began earlier this week, the first since the junta took power in 2021. We explored the political climate through the eyes of Burmese journalists based in Chiang Mai. As the Myanmar junta concludes the first of its planned three-phase general election, international media, academics, and Myanmar's independent media have raised questions about its legitimacy. These news footage speak for themselves. Turnout is low compared to the last election in 2020. Security on election days is a concern.
The people are afraid. Those Myanmar people who live in the areas under the military control, they are afraid of what will happen to them if they don't go and vote. But then those who are living in the liberated area, in the revolution control area, they don't have to worry about voting at all because the military cannot come and set up the poll station. But people are very worried about their safety, whether they are in the cities living under the military control area or they are living in the revolutionary areas because the Myanmar military has been bombing the civilians like almost every day for the last 4 years.
According to the BBC investigation in 2024, the Myanmar military currently controls only about 21% of the country. 42% of the territory is under the control of various resistance groups, while a further 29% remains contested. Nevertheless, Somintun, a junta spokesperson, told state media that more than 6 million people, or 52.13% of enrolled voters, had voted on Sunday across 102 townships. According to him, it was a source of pride, as even in developed democratic nations, there are situations where voter turnout does not exceed 50%. While some argue that holding an election, however, flawed is better than none, veteran Burmese activist Kin Omar disagrees.
Having this election, you know what will happen is after this sham election, this Myanmar military will have a chance to claim to the world that they have held the election, even though the election is not a real, free or fair or credible election. And then they will claim legitimacy from the world. And then what they want is they want the world to recognize them as the official government of the Myanmar country. And then they will try to actually get rid of the sanctions from the world, and they want to bring their international businesses back into the country. But when they do something like that, what is happening to the Myanmar people? For the Myanmar people under this military, their life is getting far worse and worse, no matter they are living in the cities or they live in the urban or rural areas. So that's the very reason that Myanmar people will not give up. They don't need another election because they already voted for the government that they wanted in 2020 election.
Under the new election rules, more than 40 popular political parties, including the National League for Democracy and the Shan Nationalities League for Democracy, have been disbanded. Observers say that this further demonstrates that the election will not reflect the will of the people. So how do we get out of this deadlock?
We need inclusive dialogue. Is this a real solution? I know it's ideal, but we need to think new way for this country. It requires dialogue to include all stakeholders. So when we mean all stakeholder is not only about between the military regime and NUG, right? It's more than that. Like there's so many resistance groups, there are many ethnic groups, ethnic resistance organizations, many Burma resistance groups as well, and also civil society. So when the time passes, there will be more and more actors coming up. So we need to start right now about to have inclusive dialogue. And as long as the political dialogue not really be inclusive, of course, it cannot tackle the root cause of the problem.
But that peace process will require much more from the Myanmar junta. At the collaborative media monitoring program held jointly by Thai PBS and over 20 organizations, including Myanmar and international media, discussions include the role of international actors.
We're living in a world that is more polarizing and more protectionist than ever before that we're seeing, right? Countries are pursuing their own self-interested goals more aggressively than ever as well. And so what it means for Myanmar, I think, is that some external actors, right, are so preoccupied with their own issues and other issues surrounding them as well, right? So they fail to articulate a clear stance on Myanmar elections. That being said, some governments have already, outright denounced the elections, but that's pretty much it. But ASEAN's remaining silent is probably what the junta needs. This is probably all it needs, right? They don't want an outright legitimizing from ASEAN. They don't care, right? Honestly, I don't think they care that much about ASEAN as long as China continue to support its legitimacy after the election. But ASEAN actually should care, because if ASEAN chooses to remain silent right now, it will face great difficulty not to invite back the junta's political representations after the election.
The state-run Global New Light of Myanmar reported that the first two phases of voting in Myanmar on December 28th and on January 11th will cover 202 out of a total of 330 townships. The third phase will be held on January 25th in 63 townships. We'll end the program with lighter stories. Late last year, the 2025 World Robot Olympiad was held in Singapore. Competitors came from around the world, including Thailand, which won 2 silver medals. Our reporter Thoranin Thepwong invites you to marvel at the abilities of Thai children who are interested in robotics, which is now a significant trend of the future.
The competition featured teams from various nations, each wearing national team uniforms from across Asia, Europe, North and South America, and Africa, reminiscent of the Olympic Games. However, their equipment did not consist of balls, tennis rackets, or track shoes. Instead, they carried custom-built robots made from building blocks into the arena. This was the 2025 World Robot Olympiad (WRO) held in Singapore this November. Over the 3-day event, teams from more than 19 countries participated, including a 16-team contingent from Thailand competing across all 4 categories. One highlight was Robo Mission, where teams design robots to complete specific tasks alongside on-site surprise challenges that require immediate programming. Scoring was based on task competition and speed, with categories ranking from elementary to junior high school levels. The exhibition area featured the Future Innovators competition under the theme Future of Robots. Here, teams pitched their robotic solutions for real-world problems to a panel of roving judges.
We are from Chulalongkorn University Demonstration Elementary School. Today, we made something exciting called Smart Robot City!
Yes, this is one of Thai teams that have developed an intelligent system to track Bangkok's traffic congestion. Another standout project from Thailand is a robotic assistive device for astronauts to help maintain mobility during long-duration space missions. Other nations brought equally unique concepts with vibrant booths drawing in crowds of visitors. In the future engineer categories, teams design autonomous vehicles to complete 2 primary tasks, completing 3 laps without hitting the walls, and navigating an obstacle course. Winning depends on speed, technical design, and sensor integration. Team Chemist TFM delivered an outstanding performance, securing a silver medal. Meanwhile, in robot sports, 2 robots face off to create balls from their side of the court within 2 minutes. The team with the fewest balls remaining wins. Team Chemist number 1 is here from Thailand, fought their way to the finals, eventually falling to the Philippines to take home the silver. This brings Thailand's total to silver medals at this year's Olympiad. These results prove that Thai youth possess world-class technological progress. However, the students emphasizes that more robust support is needed to unlock even greater opportunities.
เป็นเหมือนการแข่งขันประเภทอื่นนะครับเช่นการแข่งขันกีฬาที่เราเคยเห็นมาพอสมควรว่าแบบมีเด็กเก่งพอสมควรแต่ไม่ได้รับการสนับสนุนจากผู้ใหญ่ตรงนี้ก็เช่นเดียวกันกับทางด้านของการแข่งขันหุ่นยนต์ของประเทศไทยครับในประเทศเราค่ะยังมีการแข่งหุ่นยนต์ที่แบบไม่เยอะพอค่ะเช่นเหมือนประเทศมาเลย์อย่างเงี้ยค่ะเราจะเห็นว่าวันนี้เขาได้รางวัลเยอะมากค่ะเพราะว่าประเทศเขาสนับสนุนเขามีรายการแข่งย่อยๆเล็กๆเยอะค่ะหนูคิดว่าประเทศเราควรจะมีเพิ่มอีกสักแบบว่านิดๆหน่อยๆค่ะให้คนได้แบบว่ามาฝึกฝีมือแล้วก็ให้เด็กแบบว่าได้ลองทำดูค่ะ
In an era driven by technology, these skills are essential. For Thailand, fostering this young talent remains a priority, ensuring they are ready to drive the country's future development. Thoranin Thepwong reporting for Thai PBS World.
All right, and that's all for this edition of This Week with Thai PBS World. Join us every Friday at 10 p.m. only on Thai PBS. You can also follow us on social media and our website, thaipbsworld.com, for all the latest stories and analyses about Thailand. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. สวัสดีค่ะ